I think that's it for the day, guys.
He's out of the race. He'll finish 40th today. Back and forth and back and forth.
These two leaders get together. Keselowski could take advantage of it.
Whoa, really
Time loose. Keselowski's going to get the momentum off four, guys. And Brad Keselowski's going to win it.
How about that, GoDaddy? That's how you do it. Oh, yeah.
Brian Victor's trying to win the race. He didn't do anything wrong.
He hung up my right rear quarter panel. I'm sure I'm complaining and I'm whining and I'm a crybaby, but that's uncalled for. I mean, it's just stupid.
I am so sorry. I forgot it was the Kyle Busch show. Hell, I thought we were racing for a win.
That was one happy young man right there.
Oh my God, I won at home. I don't know what you guys saw, but it looked like one heck of a show.
Now, that was quite a finish and quite a win for Brad Keselowski, who's from Rochester Hills, Michigan, a Detroit suburb. The third-generation racer is a 26-year-old a lot of fans and his fellow drivers are getting to know on and off the track.
I feel like I'm proving myself every time I get in a race car. And when the day comes, I don't feel like I have something to prove. That's when I'll lose interest in the sport. I think that there are two different personalities that I carry, and they come out in different ways. I still have that quiet side. In my private life, I don't mind not being the center of attention. But the racing world brings out like that next step in me, that step that is confident, passionate, but you have to know how to let that fuel you.
Yeah!
If you drove with emotion all throughout a race, trying to get 100% every lap, you're gonna knock the wall down at lap 30 and nobody's gonna know who you are. They're just gonna laugh at you. When I first got into running the Nationwide car, or even in the truck series, I got pushed around a lot. I found that when I stopped allowing that to happen, I became more successful. If the penalty for being too passionate is, you know, making a few people mad along the way, I would much rather take that than take the thought of, I didn't care.
Oh, he turns Hamlin. Gets into Hamlin. Look out, remember, these guys have history from before.
There is always give and take in racing, will always be, and there's nothing wrong with give and take. But you can't confuse give and take with allowing yourself to be bullied.
But Keselowski's team is mad at the 20 team for swerving into him. A lot of heat right there.
I feel like I have an appreciation for my competitors and a respect for them that sometimes they don't see. If you're always worried about the respect of your competitors, you know, you're never going to be able to run up front, to be able to win, and you're not going to be genuine to yourself or to your team. Of course I care what people think, absolutely. I don't want to make my competitors angry, but at the same side, you have to understand that the only time they're going to be happy with you is when they're beating you.
Big time crash there for Brad Keselowski.
I think this was Carl Edwards' payback for what happened earlier in this race.
There's a part of me that looks at Atlanta and thinks of it as collateral damage to an attitude that I have towards racing.
I think we probably won't have as many run-ins now as we've had in the past, and that's a good thing.
To say that I had it coming in more than any other race car driver, I think is probably not an objective view. We're all looking out for our own well-being. So to go out of your way to ruin somebody else's day is to completely sacrifice your own well-being. When you are willing to tear down your own house just to try to get to somebody else's, that is the epitome of defeat. There is no doubt in my mind that the way that I'm doing things in this sport is the hard way. But I feel like it will pay off. It might not pay off tomorrow or this year or even the year after next. But I feel really good that it will pay off in the long run. To have the fans, you know, approval or enthusiasm makes me feel like it's worth it and adds its own swagger to you. Like, you know, everything along the way that I did made it worth it. And I carry that with me. I think that's been a large part to the confidence that I have. I don't think I want to be like all the other drivers. Somebody said the other day, I like Brad because he's not a vanilla driver. And I thought, man, that's pretty cool. You're right, I'm not vanilla. I'm more like the Neapolitan ice cream. You know, I have a little bit of vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate in me. And you never know which side is going to come out.
Well, you remember the feature started with Brad Keselowski winning here last year for the local boy. That was pretty big. Can anything match that today?
Winning again would be cool, you know. What a dream weekend so far. I've had a lot of fun at home with family and friends. Got to go to Michigan football camp, hang out with the boys over there, and come over here to Speedway, qualify on the pole. Our Dodge Challenger is so fast, it's scary. And, you know, humbled by this weekend. What a great weekend, and hopefully we can finish it off on the nationwide side by winning today and have a strong run tomorrow on the Cup side.
You guys have had just as much time as everybody else with this race car. How did Paul and the guys get it so right?
I don't know. They're just that amazing. You know, you're right, Paul Wolf, my nationwide crew chief. He's just one heck of a racer, and this race car is just more than I could ask for.
All right, how'd you like to be our in-race reporter?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Brad is our in-race reporter. We set that up ahead of time, actually. If you want to ask him a question that may be used during the race today, log on to ESPN.com, search Ask the Driver, write it out, and then if they ask you, you got to answer it.
I'll answer. I'm good about it,
okay.
Usually.
Brad's good for that. Alan?
All right. Brad Keselowski, defending winner of this race, getting ready to lead this field to the green flag. Rusty, you're very close to Roger Penske. What was it told him Brad was the guy for his team?
Well, we talked about Paul Wolf being a true racer. Did you hear that part?
Yep.
I mean, Brad Keselowski is a true racer. That's all he knows. He grew up racing, and he loves it. He's passionate about it. You know, I talked to Roger Penske. He said, man, this guy's very involved at the race shop, too. Shows up at the shop all the time, really cares about the team, and he's very, very grateful to the opportunity he's got. He's constantly thanking people and just going around patting everybody in the back and trying to be part of the team. But above all, he just drives hard. Yeah. He's just a hard driver, and case in point, how good he did last year in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Nationwide car. That really did wake up Roger Penske, but Roger learned a lot more about Brad after he hired him.
Penske wasn't even planning on running a nationwide effort for Brad Keselowski this year. He's leading the championship by a bunch. It might turn out to be an okay thing. Brad has had some perception and reception problems among some of his competitors. Yeah. Has that changed over the last year or so?
It has changed, and I'll tell you, I talked to a lot of his competitors, and it's been interesting. The guys he's had some run-ins with, they all look at Brad and they say, well, you know, he's a very, very competitive guy. We think he's fit in a little bit better over the last few weeks, and he's trying to, you know, temper himself a little bit better. But the guys who sit back and watch and haven't had run-ins with him, they all respect Brad simply because of his ability to race hard. They've looked at Brad Keselowski, and he is the template. He came up through the Truck Series, into the Nationwide Series, then to the Cup Series. So what he has done is he has paid his dues. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people in that garage area that have a lot of respect for Brad Keselowski.
All right, well, I mentioned the huge lead that Brad Keselowski has in the Nationwide Series Championship. How about 327 points over second place Carl Edwards?
Oh, man.
That's like leading by 10 games going into September in baseball. Wow. Still plenty of racing to go, but something pretty unusual is going to have to happen for Keselowski not to be king this season. Carl Edwards, for his part, starts 14th today, and he's looking to score another Michigan win for his team owner, Jack Roush, Vince.
Well, what a special win it would be, too, if Carl could get the victory for Jack Roush here this weekend, and, of course, in the motor capital as well. And you were #1 in the first practice, turned the fastest lap of all the practice laps in that first practice session. How close are you with that with your race car?
Well, the good thing is that the clouds are out. The conditions are a lot like that the beginning of that practice session on Thursday. So we're hoping that this Valvoline Mustang is fast again. As it was the best it was when we unloaded, you know, and that's a testament to the guys back at the shop. But just pretty excited about this race. I think it's going to be really, really crazy. I mean, the car is really draft, you know, so you're going to have a Daytona-like draft down the straightaways, and everybody's going to spread out in the corners. And if I can play my cards right, maybe we can get that Valvoline Mustang to victory lane.
There's been a lot of talk about what you might not know coming into this race. What's the unknown for you as you get ready to start this race? Really, the unknown is how to complete a pass. I haven't passed anyone in this car yet, and I'm hoping to pass some people, and I just don't know how it's going to work. And I don't know if you're going to want to go on the outside of people and get them loose, or if you're going to want to dive under them and get a run. But I have a feeling it'll be exciting watching us figure it out. You know, hopefully it's not too disastrous.
Yeah, I'm guessing Carl's going to get it figured out before the end of the day, Alan.
All right, it'd be fun to watch, that's for sure. Thanks, Vince. Jack Roush was released from the hospital on Wednesday and returned to the racetrack on Friday, walking through the garage to see his drivers like Carl and his teams just 2.5 weeks after the crash of a plane he was piloting at a Wisconsin aviation event. Roush spoke with reporters about what happened and the effect it will have on him long term.
On a trip on arrival into Oshkosh, Wisconsin, I was put in conflict with the flight path of another airplane close to the ground, and I was unable to address the conflict and keep the airplane flying. And so I ground looped the airplane, and I got a compression fracture in my back. I got some damage to my left eye, and I've got damage to my left cheek, and but I'll recover everything but the side of my left eye.
Certainly great to see Jack Roush back at the racetrack. Can one of his cars win at this place that's so important to him, and at a track where fuel mileage and strategy often come into play. How will the new factor of the new car factor in?
Oh,
I don't know.
We'll
Nobody
talk about
knows.
it next.
Oh,